How you doing today, folks? And welcome to Red Wolf EDC. Now this, to be very clear, is what I would qualify as a rant video. But it's a rant I think kind of affects us all right now, so watch or don't. Either way, I don't blame you at all. But let's get started. 20 years ago today, or very close to 20 years ago, don't quote me, I did not Google this shit prior to making this video. 9/11 happened. If you were watching this video later on in life, I'm posting this on September 11th. Now, when 9/11 happened, I was a child, and I remember going to school at Tobin World in Antioch, California, which is a school for special needs and at-risk youth because I was trying to fight everybody. So I came into school that day, same day as every day, right? But the energy was just different. There was no laughing or fighting or complaining or really any talking of any kind. Everything was just absolutely silent. And as I walked down the weird, brightly blue plush carpet to my actual classroom, I opened those gaudy yellow doors and walked into my actual classroom. And everyone was hunched around an old school boob TV. You know, the ones that have like the regular flat screen, those absolute gigantic backs, the ones that I was a mover for years of my life that I hate carrying because even though it's a very small screen, those things weigh a freaking ton, the boob tubes. So everyone, teacher and student alike, are all sitting on these little plastic blue and yellow chairs, and they're just huddled around the screen. And all the kids are looking at this TV with looks of either astonishment, amusement, unfortunately, or absolute horror. And the teachers are in genuine tears, and they just look absolutely terrified. Now, to be clear, as a kid, I was what you would describe as a bastard. I reveled in people's discomfort and misery, but this day, I didn't have any of that, man. All my little evil instincts, so to speak, just vanished, and I was just kind of stunned. I didn't really know what to take any of it. I was just a literal child. So I silently walked over and I went to see what was on the actual TV. And what was there was what looked like to be a still photo, but almost kind of like holographic, like those old holographic cards you might get back in the day, a baseball card or a comic book. Because what I saw was a static image of the Twin Towers with just smoke billowing out of it, right? But on this old low-resolution TV with the big old cracked screen, everything just seemed somehow fractured and disjointed. Now, I watched this fractured mirror of our own perceptions for about 10 minutes, right? And then the second plane hit. This is my first real experience with death and true and genuine hatred on such a profound level. Now, I live in Stockton, California now, but I grew up in East Oakland, California, and to say things are violent, dangerous, ghetto, racist it's kind of an understatement, man. You really have to earn your place in the environments I grew up in. And until you did, you were just a white boy, you were just a cracker, you were just a nothing. Now, to be clear, I perfectly understand other neighborhoods. If you're black, you might be segregated against. If you're Mexican, you might be segregated against. I'm not trying to claim that I was unique in this situation, but either way, I had experienced little bits of hate, but never like this. And something in me that day just really kind of broke. And I just started throwing chairs and I started throwing tables, and I was just sad, but I was also really, really angry in a way that I didn't even understand at that point, and I would not understand until years down the road when I really analyzed my actions that day. To be clear, I did not hit a teacher or a student or anything. I was just absolutely destroying the classroom, and some people craned their heads away from the TV to look at me, but it wasn't so much in shock or awe or hatred or anger. They were looking at me like they understood my rage, my frustration. And it was almost like one of those old school VHS movies. I believe it's called Village of the Damned, where there's just this unspoken language going on. This language this day was just grief, was sadness, was torment. We're all too young to understand what those words really meant, but somehow we all got it. We couldn't say it out loud. We could only just think it in silent unison and just cry out. And my way of crying out was to throw everything I possibly could around and to just scream. Now, Tobin World is a school for troubled youth. These teachers have pepper spray. These teachers have all sorts of different accoutrements to take our asses down. And routinely an alarm would be sounded and there would be about 5 of them dipping me on the back of my head and holding me down, telling me to shut the fuck up. But again, this time there was none of that. Again, these silent teachers that I had just spent the majority of my years, honestly, at that school tormenting, also just looked on in silent understanding of my frustration and my anger. Now, I'm saying all of this because now in 2021, I kind of have the same exact feeling. Now, as an adult, I'm not going to run around and throw things and break things. It just doesn't serve a purpose. To destroy without meaning and merit is rarely ever an option, even if it does, simply put, feel good. But something happened on September 11th all those years ago, and it's that our entire nation unified. That day didn't matter if you were white, black, brown, Asian, or anything between the lines, man. It just didn't. That day we were all just Americans, and we were all angry and hurt and confused, and all of these things we understood with silent understanding. Now, I'm not going to get into the war on Iraq because it doesn't really serve the purpose of this video, but now in 2021, I really hope that we can remember what happened and all once again silently understand and come together as a nation, because we are divided and in such a profound way. People hate each other for reasons they don't even understand. If someone chooses to get vaccinated or not does not define if they are a good or a bad person. The way someone votes does not define if they're a good or a bad person. These things are so infinitely complex that we really just can't comprehend them cleanly. And that really is the basis of all of this, man. We cannot comprehend these things cleanly. When I say cleanly, I mean 100% clean cut without a doubt. Because there are so many underlying X factors involved that we just don't know. How I was raised is different from how you were raised and how everybody else was raised. But again, this event, this horrible, tragic, man, just, I don't even know how to describe it, man. Just this fucking travesty that happened to us brought us all together. And I really hope that people can get off of the news right now. They can stop going, oh, well, Trump didn't show up at this gathering, or so and so forth didn't show up at this gathering, and just stop trying to find all these little petty reasons to divide. And just, again, we just together, we just take a deep breath and we see the future is brighter than it is, and we unify. Because right now we're being laughed at, man. I've made friends with people throughout this entire world. The internet and YouTube and the night community has blessed me with friends in Norway, Finland, Ireland, all over the UK in general. I have friends in both Austria and Australia, and almost universally we're being laughed at. And there's a reason why. As an American, it makes me sad to admit it, but I 110% understand and even agree with the reason why. We are divided in such a way that makes us look weak, that makes us look conquerable, that makes us just look less than I know deep down we all are. What is this whole video supposed to be about? To be quite simple, if you are from the left, I love you. If you are from the right, I love you. If you are Republican or Democrat, I love you. If you are independent, I love you. If you are black, white, Asian, or goddamn rainbow, I love you. I don't care who you are. I don't care what defines you. If you are an American citizen, hell, if you are a citizen of the world as a whole, I love you. But again, as I've said many times, I cannot help but root for my home team. And America, USA, I really hope we're able to right this ship, because people are talking about bloodshed. I don't think anybody understands how incredibly bad that would turn out. Is revolution possible? Absolutely. But the costs are profound. And if things need to go that route, I will happily throw my body upon that pyre and burn for my goddamn beliefs. But I honestly can't help but hope that we're able to avoid that. And I think we can. And I think moments like this, where we can all think back and just remember a time when we were all unified and how good that felt to be unified as one driving force, one driving fist, one driving salute in a name greater than any of us, in a cause greater than any of us, was a beautiful thing. And I hope with all of my heart that we can get that back. As always, folks, I love you all with all of my heart. Please take care and bye-bye.